Hey, travel buddies, and welcome back to Keisha's Corner. Now, listen, I ran across this video about an American Airlines flight being diverted due to a disruptive passenger. So this video is about more than just packing your clothes and your essentials in your bag. It's also about packing your emotional intelligence. Let's take a look.
Who were on board that American Airlines flight. It was heading from New York's JFK to O'Hare when there was a disturbance on board. NBC5's Rose Schmidt reports the FBI is
Now, before we even get into it, I'm curious. As soon as you heard there was a disturbance on board, what do you think that disturbance was? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? And be honest, when you hear it was a disturbance on the flight, what do you think it typically is? You can let me know in the comments.
now investigating.
The flight was originally scheduled to land here at O'Hare around 11 a.m. It actually landed around 7 p.m., around 8 hours late.
What are you feeling?
What am I feeling? I'm exhausted. And I'm upset.
And I hate that. You see elderly people all the time. And even if you're not elderly, I mean, you go through the airport, you've gathered all your children, your bags, your family, or whatever. It's a frustrating situation because you've bought your tickets, you've made your plans, you're in tight spaces, you have to anticipate delays. It's the airport. That's what happens there. But I hate to see that with elderly people.
Passengers on flight 2819 were on their way to O'Hare International Airport when they got an unexpected diversion to Detroit. They say the disruption started when the plane was about an hour from Chicago.
We hear this person in the back screaming, yelling, and no, 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 and he can't get off the plane, and he has to, he didn't take his meds.
Now I wondered, this disruptive passenger, did he say that, hey, I didn't take my meds today, or is somebody saying that? You have to take some things with a grain of salt, because even if as an eyewitness, by the time they retell the story, there is a whole bunch of extra things there. But still, if you are on a plane and you hear somebody scream out, no, 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 and it's not a child, what are your thoughts?
The crew asked for medical personnel on board.
And then he started screaming, I'm going to blow up the plane. I know planes. And I'm going to kill you all. And he was this close to getting really, really aggressive. He was ready to attack the flight attendants.
American Airlines says.
Now, everybody's slightly different. Perspective is everything. I always say that. But for me, she used the word aggressive. She said that he was very close to becoming aggressive, but he's already started yelling. He's already mentioned maybe that he hasn't been on his meds, and he's already mentioned the people on the plane. So, I mean, I'm wondering what more would he have to do for her to consider him to be aggressive.
The plane landed safely in Detroit, where law enforcement and doctors met the flight, and the disruptive passenger was taken off the plane. The FBI's Detroit field office confirmed agents were at Detroit Metro Airport.
Get up!
Passengers shared photos and videos with us of those tense moments when they were given a police escort on a bus in Detroit, and before that, when police.
That's a lot already. So you have to get deplaned, then you have to be shuttled to somewhere else to safety, I suppose. And just not knowing what's going on. That's a lot. And there's people who can't move as fast. There's elderly people. There's people with children. You just don't know what's going on. And like I said, in these days and times, you just have to really pay attention when you are on travel and really come into it with some emotional stability. And I'm not talking about the disruptive passenger. I'm talking about, because these things can happen, delays happen. Sometimes the customer service desk is not so friendly. You have to pack your patience, and you have to pack some emotional intelligence.
Police and FBI first boarded the plane.
They're all chanting on the intercom to put our heads down and hands up, and it was like nobody knew what was really going on at the point.
Now that's the part that would freak me out. You want me to put my head down and hands up for what? I mean, assuming that the plane is not about to crash, why would I do that? Because I think that they don't, this is just my opinion, maybe they don't want people taking pictures and capturing what might happen. Maybe they have to use some physical force to remove this person, but I'm not about to put my head down and hands up. I don't know. It just seems odd that I'm not the one causing the disruption, and I'm not planning to get involved either. So I just want to sit here, but I might want to capture something. I might need to send a message to my family or anything. Yeah.
Passengers tell us that was the most frustrating part of all.
We were just sitting there and not knowing anything, hour after hour after hour after hour.
The FBI is investigating and says there's no threat to the public.
Don't they always say that there's no threat to the public? But I guess it wasn't. They handled this as they should and removed the disruptive passenger. So everybody made it home safe. So in this instance, there was a disruptive passenger on the plane. They had to do what they had to do to remove the passenger. I imagine it was a scary experience for most of the people on the plane. I just want to speak to my travel buddies out there to say that that may never have happened to you. I have never been on a flight where they had to stop it or route or to take off an unruly person. I've seen some people get very close, but not actually where we had to reroute. But I'm also aware that that type of stuff can happen. So for me, the goal is to share with my community that just realize what times we are in, realize that even if we were not in times where TSA wasn't getting paid or the lines weren't long, or if it wasn't so much tension already at the airport, you know, maybe you could be a little bit more relaxed. But in these days, I say you have to be a little bit more vigilant. You have to be an adult about most situations because you can't control what may happen. And people do have mental breakdowns inside the airport, sometimes on the flight. Sometimes people have had one too many drinks. But for me, the whole experience of traveling is to show you who you are. It's not ever about the destination, always about the journey, how you got there, what happened before you got there, what happened on the way back, how did you feel? Did that change your experience? Were you able to let it go once you reached your destination? Were you just happy because you made it there safely? Or did you just stay grumpy the whole time because of this experience? So anyway, for whatever happened with the passenger that was removed from the plane, I hope he's okay. I'm glad everyone made it home safely. But this is exactly what I speak about in my book. I have a new book out. It's called I Went From Tripping to Traveling. Because before you're just out tripping like, hey, good times, I'm going somewhere. But you don't really pay attention to the emotional intelligence of the journey of it all. Travel shows you who you are. It's never about the disruptive passenger. It's how you react, how you handle it. So travel buddies, I want to hear from you. Drop in the comments. Have you ever been on a plane where there was a major disruption? Have you ever been rerouted before? How did you handle that experience? Let us know some of your travel experiences and how you had to exhibit, or maybe you didn't, some emotional intelligence to get through the situation. If you're new here, welcome. We are a community of travel enthusiasts. We appreciate all feedback we share to keep our people aware. And I want to say thank you for watching. I'm Keisha, and this is my corner.